Ding dong. Hello?
سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Yola, yola, infidels, that's right. Still recovering from Big Ray's birthday bash. It's the Hack Attack, ready to invade the developmental system with the mastermind of HMG. A lot of positive feedback. Want to hear what the vet has to say? Well, so does Hacker Hamin. And we're going to do it all day here on the Next Level Review, channelattitude.com. Hamin Media Group, infidels. YOLO.
That's how you start a show. That's how you start a show right there.
We're rocking it, man, early today, and glad to be on with the vet. I got positive feedback last night. Hey, man, I could listen to the vet's opinions all day long. I love what he has to say. Right on Twitter, people giving shout-outs right to you, man, and I couldn't agree more. Always happy to have my OVW brother representing HMG. I know he's got the training. I know he's got the psychology, and he's got a critical eye that for things that a lot of people don't see. He's my man, at Opinion Haver. It's the vet, buddy. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great now. Finally getting to do another show with the founder himself. Who's been talking about it? What have they been saying? I didn't hear any of this.
What they say? I'll bring her right up here and stooge him off. Give you your flowers, bro. You fucking deserve it. I want to punch myself in the face for even saying that, but I don't talk like that.
Who talks like that?
Yeah. Some kids
like Mussolini.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not that guy. Man, scrolling. So much already tweeting earlier today. Janie's Got a Gun came on. Love that. Fuck, vet. I'm not sure right here. I'm looking for it. I had it last night. It was somebody, I think it was Dr. Guitar, to be honest with you. At Dr. Guitar.
Oh, I know that.
Avid follower of ours as well. But yeah, man, loving what you're doing with the Cool Kids crew on Impact. Obviously, this hot little clique inside HMG, the VBC, doing what they do over there, man. And the breakdown of what we know best, the developmental system here on Next Level 2.0. Kick it off with a big birthday shout out to Big Ray. His lovely wife, Jen. Looks like she had everything set up for him. I'm so happy for him. In their first year of marriage, looks like they're just having great time being best friends over there. And I'm sure they tied one on and got a little freaky, pal. And I said, of course, brother, it's your birthday. Have a good one. And it looks like they did, man. So big shout out to our own Big Ray on his birthday.
All right, enough putting Big Ray over. We're done with that now. All right, this what I'm excited to hear about, because I wanted to ask you about a few things. For any of the people, and I don't know why this would be the case, but perhaps you are not signed up for the Russo brand on Channel Attitude or something. So I wanted to give you an opportunity here. And it is selfishly for me. I'd like to get maybe 3 quick promos from you about some subjects here, and I'll go in order of severity.
Okay.
I already covered all these, so I just want to hear your opinion. I talked about these things on Impact Attack and when I jumped in for Enright on the Smack Attack this week.
Yeah, so thank you very much for in there too, buddy.
They've already heard from me. I'd like to hear from you and some of the stuff maybe you haven't got a chance to talk about yet, or some of the stuff you have and they have not heard it yet. Number 1, short promo on Butch.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Hey, the guy can chain wrestle. There's no doubt about it. But people are like, he's the best in the fucking world. I'll put him in there with Adam Revolver, and Adam Revolver would expose him. And all this little break your finger. Nobody comes out the next week with a broken finger. Does everybody have magical fingers that can heal in 6 days between shows? No. Then don't do the finger break if you're not breaking fingers. You expose yourself. Man bun? Sure. Why not? Get on the gas? Hell yeah, it's WWE. Do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, if you can't break the 5'10" club, you're not going to be looked at as a superstar. So now the guy's competent in the ring, no doubt about it. Promo skills, 3 out of 10 maybe. And the whole NXT UK thing, I'm very happy for guys that we came up with, referees and whatnot. I don't need a stooge and all the kids who got contracts, but really, is there one standout besides Walter out of the whole NXT UK experiment? And really, why did NXT UK even come about? Because they wanted to cut the throat of World of Sport and signed all those guys. It was a political move. It was not because to keep control of the territory. It was not because the place was overflowing with talent that was going to fucking make it to the next level. So now he's up there in the little fucking Grover Gill spot to Scott Farkas's bigger bully. You know what I mean? Playing the Napoleon bit. He looks like a newsie. Now, is he going to lean into it and become the heel Crash Holly? I haven't seen the character commitment to the bit in order for him to do that to impress Vince McMahon, who's got the most junior, sophomoric, comedy. He's going to still want to be a tough guy with a man bun. But when you put him next to Ridge Holland in a Kato mask and Sheamus, just because they're all from UK and speak with a weird accent, that don't mean it's getting over, bro. So with the Heat on being in that crew, Heat by association, and the visual of it, Ridge Holland just hit his third strike on injuring guys in 6 months that he's been on the main roster. And he injured a bad one, a big one, in Big E. So
that's my number 2. So pause on that.
Sure.
Well, all that is fine about Pete Dunne, but I'm talking about Butch. What about Butch?
Is it
what is this? Yeah, what is this?
Thought he was a ugly lesbian that had been called up. Did he think he was a woman? Butch, you know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be the little scrappy dog that runs around the big fucking bulldog from Looney Tunes. But I don't see him committing to act a fool of that bit. He thinks he's 6'6", a tough guy. And you could have that Napoleon complex, but you got to be, let Butch at him. And they got to fucking grab you and pull you back. It's a comedy heel thing. Is he going to commit to that? And how much longevity's in that? And if he doesn't get over with character in a guy who is who could have been NXT UK, but really wasn't. He's OVW and Impact, Rockstar Spud. That's a Rockstar Spud built-in character. Spud might not have the size of the look to pull it off as much, but I'll tell you right now, Butch better look at what Spud does and fucking go pull him aside. If there was a project, I'd be like, Spud, you're going to be fucking married to Butch backstage as an agent. I need you to work on character. He's at a 3 out of 10. We need to get that up to an 8 out of 10. Make him feel comfortable showing ass, acting a fool, and fucking and being this dude. Because otherwise, Vince McMahon with the locker room heat on that clique right now, just the way things go, politics wise, Butch might be fucking a casualty of war if he doesn't turn that around and impress him real quick. You know what I mean?
I could see Vince seeing it the way you're saying with the small dog thing, except not for comedy. I could see Vince getting in there and telling him, the same speech he tried to give AJ Styles or whatever. Like I could see him doing that and thinking it's serious and think it's going to get over. But the question is, for guys like him, okay, you had the chance to call this motherfucker Butch 4 or 5 years ago whenever you brought him in. Why are you doing it now after you already invested many tens and thousands of dollars into him, many hours of television time? Why is he Butch now? Everybody already, and Sheamus even says, we know him by another name. Oh, fucking great. Why? That's a wonderful way to introduce somebody. Oh yeah, you know him by another name, but who cares about that?
Name is Dewdrop, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same with. So again, Dewdrop, Walter, all these people that get a random name change for no reason, and people always try to come up with these straw man arguments like, look, it's a who cares what their name is? It's like, well, obviously they do, because they let the person have the name for however long. You can, if you want to reassign names to guys, you can do that the moment that they appear on your TV. You don't have to wait until they're already like grandfathered into your programming and then decide to just switch it up on everybody. You know what I mean? These guys are showing up in the video game with their old names. That's how far back this shit goes. Right. And the games are brand new, and you're trying to promote that. Now these guys are showing up, and the little kids that don't understand are gonna have questions. So
it looks foolish, right? I mean, it makes hey, let's recruit these guys, invest millions in them, pay them, get them established to some degree to our most loyal fans who are watching this show, and then fuck all that work. I mean, we saw it with Ox and Hammer. Ox goes up to fucking ECW, becomes Bam Neely, or you got Atlas DeBone, and he becomes Ricky Ortiz. You know, like, dude, if you're going to invest at that level, you should be developing it to get it to cross over onto the show. Now, there is something to be said with, hey, we got a bigger idea for these guys who are already over. We just need a C player in here that can kind of round out the click, and it's more value to restart and do that. But the reality is a couple things. A, Vince gets tired of playing with his toys and wants new toys, so you put a new coat of paint on them and fucking call them something else, right? And the other thing is they did invest that time into him, and they want to fire him, but they don't want him to go to AEW, and they also don't want to look bad that they put all that time in and this guy isn't going to get over. So give him a quick shitty gimmick and test him. Will he do what we say and dance? And then maybe he'll pop us so we can keep him around. Or let's just get this done in 6 to 8 weeks and go, this fucking shit sucked and he doesn't have a spot here. Sorry, bro. We're going a different way with Sheamus. And it's easier to push him out that way. He got his little run in WWE as Butch. Even though they know him as Pete Dunne, he can go on and cut a hot, fiery promo about fuck Butch and I'm the best wrestler, whatever, and get his indie bookings because he's going to make his money either way. But that's a thing they do to bring developmental guys up. We'll strap you with a shitty gimmick. We've talked about Abraham Washington before. We've talked about all these guys that only have maybe a 6 to 10 month shot to get window on the main roster once they get called up from developmental, because the gimmick just fits it's a short-term thing. So you got to be thinking about, I got to commit to this and get it over. And I also need to be thinking about and have the foresight, but they usually don't because they're in the wrestling bubble there, that I know this is only going to last a year, maybe tops. How do I transition from Stevie Richards to Right to Censor? How do I have something that's my next elevation of where I can go to keep my fucking job?
Well, the interesting thing about that, though, and the difference here is that all the guys that you mentioned, no one for the majority has seen those. Like, you didn't see you the first time most people saw Abraham Washington was Abraham Washington. The first time people saw Ricky Ortiz was Ricky Ortiz. They didn't know he was ever called Atlas DeBone because that was not broadcast worldwide on multiple like big events, pay-per-views, Royal Rumbles even.
That's a problem for WWE.
The question is,
now they have this global show, and it shows they've invested in guys, and then they say, you know what, fuck our own investment. Here, let's insult our audience's intelligence. You've never seen Butch before.
Right.
Like,
that's why I think it's active. It's an active choice, because why couldn't he just be Pete Dunne, but give him the newsy hat and the gimmick and whatever and change everything he acted like, but just leave his name the same, because then people would be like, oh, this is Pete Dunne, but he's doing this now. We all see people go through evolutions and changes and things like that. So that's not that hard to buy, but like to just call somebody a completely different thing.
Extra, Vince McMahon doesn't know who Pete Dunne even fucking is. They all think they're over, but they're really not.
Well, wait. You say right, but he survived the NXT purge, which means that Vince McMahon does know who he is, and obviously saw something, or either not Vince himself, but one of the stooges.
Vince might have thought he was a fucking production guy. He might have. Pete Dunne might have been smart enough to stay small that day and not been like, yeah, this is my chance to get to the main roster, and be like, I said last night during the watch along, do you think Roderick Strong's ever going to make to the main roster? If so, it's going to be in a fucking Crash Holly position like that. Not to say Crash Holly didn't get over and create his legacy, but these guys think they're fucking monster shooters, 6'6". They think they're the star level of a Razor Ramon. And then when you put them next to each other in the ring, it looks like Razor and the 1-2-3 Kid. Now 1-2-3 Kid got over. Are you going to be smart enough to figure out a way how to do that? Or are you going to keep thinking you're the badass finger breaker from the UK? Yeah, dude, break my fucking fingers. I'll fucking drive my other thumb through your eye and pin you in 2 seconds.
Of course you will. All right. Well, so this promo number 2, we already touched upon it. Speaking of breaking, Big E, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, completely unnecessary. That's the first thing. Like, obviously, this guy can do the big wiggle and he can commit to comedy in the bit. And we're taking the fucking big move on this chest bump on the apron. We're doing the dive and then a belly to belly suplex that lands him on his head. Now, these injuries could have been compounding, but that was still when you drop 300 fucking pounds on a frame, 300, probably 20 pounds of muscle on a frame of your neck that way in the C1 and C6 crack, but you don't hurt your spinal cord. Fucking crazy. I got to say the heat's really on the agents on this, bro. And why the fuck 3 weeks from WrestleMania are we doing spots that aren't even the focus of the match of what's going on in ring just to do a double down on the outside and risk a top talent with a guy who's already had injured 2 people for how green he is. And the agent's going, yeah, belly to belly on there. Here's why that's number one wrong. The only people who can see it are half the people who are sitting on the floor and the people at home. The rest of the arena can't see that fucking spot. So you're doing it for no reason whatsoever when we could have done 50 other safe things to do a double down right there. And they go through everything in these matches, every spot. So whoever is in like, hey boys, we're 3 weeks from WrestleMania. Let's do character. Let's not take big fucking risks and do these massive bumps. Let's save them for the show because belly to belly on the outside during Mania is a decent spot. But now what are you going to fucking do to up that? Well, you're not. This guy's out. New Day's out of the picture. Fucking RK Bro has to change and switch in with Street Profits. We have no set plans for everything. Why? Because we're taking unnecessary risks. And then the next Monday on fucking Raw, there's 5 more spots with crazy unnecessary risks in the fucking Baron Corbin seg, taking belly to belly on the ramp. Owens is going up and missing things on the goddamn apron too. Like, you're about to possibly work Stone Cold on it's 316 day, right? So, but you're about to work them and you're going to possibly take yourself out of that equation by risking and doing some dumb shit, bro. Big E they could have hooked Big E for a fucking belly to belly. He reverse again. Big E then starts dancing with him, slow dancing on the outside, push him off, clothesline. That's all.
Right. Anything but what they did, right?
Yeah, dude. So Big E, I'm sure he's made his money and merch, New Day, everything pretty much. Now's his time to say fuck. And he's been champion, so he doesn't have that in his mind of like, what's it like if I never accomplish my goals? He got there and they didn't do shit to put fucking a real push behind him to get him over, right? So he doesn't, that chapter's closed in the wrestling psychotic handbook. He can check that off. Now's his time to go, you know what, Michael Strahan, you had a good run. Go run for governor. I'm taking your morning spot and being on USA Today and all that fucking shit, bro, because he can cross over to the mainstream. He can be on The View. He can be charming. He can be funny. He can pick up Hoda when she's half in the bag on fucking rosé and cradle like a baby. And we can do all that shit. That's his spot going forward. And fuck wrestling. He's done it all. He's been everywhere. He's been to the top of the mountain. He sees that it's all a fucking carrot and stick show, bro. You know what I mean? And it's tragic. It really is.
It makes me wonder because why would I think about why would this happen? And I'm wondering if it's because they're trying, it's like Big E wants to do, it's got to be a Big E idea because he could have said no. If some dumb agent told Big E, hey, you're getting suplex on the floor tonight, he's like, how about no? If he didn't want to do it, so it makes me think he wanted to do it, some part of him wanted to do it. And the reason I think that they want to do it, this is the hypothesis I had, is that just coming from the mindset of somebody that's kind of done it a little. I'm not going to try to compare myself to Big E, but just you know what I mean. We've been there at least in the literal boots, and the idea being like, well, shit, if I can't get any backing from creative, I got to give these people a show somehow.
You're not wrong,
because they are not helping. Like, what's the creative for this guy? We hit a fake ATV with with hammers. That's our angle going into WrestleMania. Like, you feel the guilt for the fans of like, this is the shit creative that I've been given and that they've been fed. I got to do something for the people that paid a ticket to come and see me. It doesn't have to be taking a suplex on the floor, but that's got to be the mindset of these guys. They have to be like trying to make up for the fact that they know the show is trash. It's got to be. And no one would know that better than you, because you spend a couple hours a week trying to deconstruct what they're doing and make some sense of it. Even though I'm sorry to say you're not succccessful, but you're trying. So I know you can appreciate.
The show gets changed at 3 p.m. So how can there's no storyline thread to really even follow most nights, and I appreciate that. And maybe he is trying to do that, and I don't want to talk ill of the guy with a broken neck. Stop doing that shit. It was time to hook 'em, dirty dancing, get off me, clothesline. That's way better, and it fits with his character more than power this motherfucker. Like, there's no real heat to be doing that, and we're taking extreme risks for no reason, man. So and you see, you can get hurt on anything in this shit, let alone something as devastating that. And we didn't learn in Saudi with fucking Madcap. We didn't even learn 3 days later, bro. So unfortunately, the wrestling bubble can really fuck with guys, real men's heads, to the point where they think they have to do that because he was champ. I got to get back on top. I could see that scenario where he thinks he's floundering and now he's pushed out of the conversation. Well, I gotta amp up my fucking fighting. Dude, you don't.
And you're like, well, Ridge Holland, the new guy, got to help get him over too. Like, I can see that mentality. So
Sure.
I don't know, man. But
it's nothing malicious. It's just like, you're going to get over with the big wiggle a lot more than you're going to fucking get over with any belly to belly.
You're beyond trying to get over with one move. You're not in the bingo halls and guard armories anymore trying to get over with strangers with one move. They all came to see you. Yeah. They know who you are. They want to see you. No one was going to walk away from that saying, I used to like Big E, but he doesn't get suplex on the floor enough. No one ever said that. So,
no.
I just hope they know how much the people like really care about him. That has nothing to do with bumps.
Yeah.
They just want to see. They're happy to see him. They're happy to be in the building.
Chant New Day Rocks to a fucking trombone, brother. That's all they want to do. That's what they paid their ticket for, to see you.
Yeah. All right. So number three promo, Scott Hall. Last time you were on the air, he was still alive. So if there's anything you want to add to what you had said on the locker room.
Yeah, man, I told, just my Blitz story on the Monday locker room. We talked a bit about it on Russo brand as well. Just people like, who's on your Mount Rushmore? And Hall's name usually never comes through, but a guy who should be on everybody's top 5 dead or alive, possibly,
He never felt as big as he really was, right?
Right.
Like he's the kind that you think like, upon further reflection, Scott Hall, because he never was really like on that top, like pushed to the top, but he was so influential and instrumental in so many things during his time.
But I love the mid card of the 90s. I didn't like Hogan and Savage. I liked Brett and Razor, like and Perfect and those guys. Right. So for me, he was definitely right in, my wheelhouse is one of my top favorite guys. And just, in most scenes, to break it down construction wise, an A and B player, he's the B player in most of them, but he's so essential in what happens in the backups, whether it's the hey yo, survey time, another one for the good guys, turn around, slap you, fucking tickle fingers, I'm scared of you, toothpick, like all these things I'm saying are 0 bumps. He gets over with using the words hey yo. Another one and like you're waiting for it. You want it. What else does he do? I'm not taking no bumps, brother. My entrance is fucking 4 minutes while I slow motion surf to the ring, and I got the fucking cue and the way we shoot it, he just feels NWO. Like you're waiting for him to come through and do that, and the scene is on, and everything just got a lot cooler, man. So obviously the epitome of cool, and as an improviser, I've said this plenty of times, good artists create, great artists steal and make their own. He pretty much on the nose stole Tony Montana without the guns and yayo and took the character and put it into WWE 10 years after the movie got over, you know what I mean? It wasn't even really like a cult hit then, and brought that character in and debuted with that. Before that, he was Diamond Stud, Big Scott Hall, AWA, you know, big like Tom Selleck, Big Sexy. But this is a complete, you got to commit to the fucking impersonation of Tony Montana and put yourself into it. And that's all I can say for character study. If you can't see that method of what Scott Hall's done to take from any movie that inspires you, where's our Katniss Everdeen? Shouldn't Becky Lynch be her? You know what I mean? Like there's so many stories, whether they're biblical, Shakespearean, big Hollywood movies, that we can take from these characters that are archetypes and layer them over the people that we are, and then bring out something new, fresh, and organic that will last the test of time. And then once people respect how much honesty and how much we've committed to that character and brought that character to life, we can leave it behind and transition into being ourselves, because the Tony Montana stuff can fall away. We see the little Scott Hall shit in there. We want more of that. Who's the real guy that way? So that's how you heighten and explore a character. But if you don't start with the commitment to the bit and taking and making it your own, you'll never get the chance to heighten and explore, which is level 2 of character creation, which I rarely get to talk about most of the time because we're at base camp 1 with these fucking terrible performances on SmackDown and Raw. So shout out to the bad guy. I mean, he's got kids and whatnot, and I know they're hurting. I don't need to go to the dark side of addiction or the fact that guys make more money now because of Scott Hall and what he did, and politics and burying guys and cutting people's throats and making people feel like shit about themselves in the locker room is also a part of what they did. But that's why they're the fucking clique. I mean, everyone can leave all these fucking great messages. Go back and check out the Shane Douglas shoot about them wanting to starve guys out, and you're born again, cross-eyed Christians got to get their money fucking too. Like, I don't want to fucking make it all about that stuff, but we also are in the mafia together, and this guy was a fucking top tier Don. You know what I mean? Like, really, at the end of the day. So influenced my life, my buddies, all of our friends, man. You know, that's a real master of this craft to watch performance wise on how you have to do next to nothing. And that's what gets you the fuck over. Giving the crowd interaction, something with yourself, having the click to back you up, and making sure the stage picture is there. And what part do you play in the stage picture? Pete Dunne, Butch. I mean, these are all character questions. I'm not trying to be facetious with that. If you're really into character creation and living this dream out and not just being in the bubble, like I'm on the 3rd brand, black and yellow. No, you're not. You're in developmental. And when you go up to the main brand, that should snap you out of the fact of, oh, that was a lie the whole time. I'm Butch now, everybody. Like, you know, so but shout out to the bad guy, man. Thank you for decades of phenomenal entertainment and lessons, you know.
All right. That has been 3 promos by Ben Hamin.
There you go, y'all. Thank you, Vet, for the setup, sir.
And if you wouldn't mind, you can hit that Bailey drop that I like, since I told you to do those 3 promos.
Ding dong. Hello? You want to laugh, Russo?
The other one.
First of all,
don't tell me what to do.
Only I can tell Ben Hamin. All right, 3 promos, go. But
that's it, man, for sure.
But let's get into this NXT because as we talk about, like, this isn't the black and gold brand, you're in developmental. Well, someone needs to tell Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and a bunch of other people that guess what? You have absolutely no idea what you're doing or what your purpose is. Starting with this opening segment, which we now have added to developmental, The Miz.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Miz TV. Well, he's in a big feud on air, right? So this was an interesting way of, like, because we were in developmental with 2 of these guys, not Robert Roode, but like, and I thought to myself, you know what? This is who this guy's been, and I'm talking Dolph Ziggler, for 15 years, because people think he's had a job ever since Spirit Squad. He didn't. When Squad got cut, he came back to OVW. and he got rehired like within 10 months, you know, working his ass off and whatnot. But then at that time is when we were doing DCW, and I remember him being up in the crow's nest and hanging with me. He's like, "You got a little something here, Sheik." He's like obviously they're green, but you're, because we were starting to take the details from OVW and tie him in and do business, and he was very pleased and surprised with that. I sat down with him and Mondo, and I wrote up this thing that was supposed to be like them as college, you know, Ivy League guys who do ribs on the locker room, kind of transition from the fucking cheerleader. They were real young then. So he was great to work with. And Damian Sandow did the same thing, came in and did business with Theta Lambda Psi and while he was released and did great stuff for us. And that gives developmental the rub. With their experience, you feel better. You know that your segment isn't two green guys, and now we can get a little something more, because the only way you're going to get better at this shit is working with people who are better than you. Now, LA Knight is a pretty polished performer, so that might not apply here. But my point is, I think Vince sends these guys down there to go, you go work with this guy and this guy and this guy, and you tell me if they're ready to come up. And I think that's what, you know, and that's a good thing to do, because you can work a safe style OVW match, which is exactly what him and LA Knight did. I like that match, and get the guy over, and can he hang with you, and is he going to get blown up or go into business for himself or not listen? That, and LA Knight is a long enough worker. He knows that report is going right back to the fucking boss too. So, or Ace or whoever. So there's definitely a reason for having these guys here. The fans don't see that when they see the Miz, Rude, and him on there. They're like, these guys got sent to NXT. That means either they suck or NXT sucks and needs help, which is probably some of the case, that it needs the rub for that. If numbers are down, well, maybe we'll get another 10,000 that'll get us from 490 to 500,000 in that metric by having WWE guys on there, main roster.
Well, I do find it interesting if you look back at the timeline of NXT and AEW on the Wednesday Night Wars, if you want to call it that, and NXT consistently losing on those nightly numbers, and the WWE trying to send people down there every once in a while. Sasha and Charlotte, the only two people I really remember them trying to like pop anything by sending down there. And then as that turns into we accept that this is a failure, and now we're gonna move nights and all this other stuff, and then the Triple H regime is removed, and then it's replaced with NXT 2.0, which I'm sure in their mind they thought, we'll show you how it's done. As a matter of fact, the numbers are the same, if not worse. So now they're having to bring back the people again. Oh, well, maybe Dolph Ziggler. They're not going to send anybody really good, but they're going to maybe AJ Styles.
Yeah, Ziggler's as good as Perfect ever was, in my opinion.
No, I'm not talking about skills. I'm talking about like we're talking about how the fans perceive it.
Oh yeah,
you suck because you're in NXT now. Gotcha. And they see how you're not doing anything of significance on Raw. Obviously, Bobby Roode has never done anything wrong. Yeah. You know that he never pissed anybody off backstage. You know he never went into business for himself. You know he never said anything he shouldn't have, did anything he shouldn't have. He did nothing but be in the best shape he's ever been in his life, with a gimmick that finally connected with people. Because I'm sorry, I never cared about Robert Roode, not once, until he got to NXT the first time. I wasn't into the beer money, wasn't into the Team Canada, never been into any of that stuff. So if he got over with me doing the glorious thing, I'm sure he got over with everybody else just the same. And yet here he is, just nothing to do for good old Robert Roode. You know what I mean? So that's the perception.
He's a player in that scene, right? So his stock is lowered. He stepped up and did a good promo in this scene. Oh, yeah. But that's because you got to give him his veteran respect and mic time to get over, you know?
Right. And he could give you any kind of promo you want. He could give you the C player promo. He could give you the B player promo. Sure. If you want him to cut a main event promo, he can do that. He can do it all. But again, we forget about these things because they've marginalized him for whatever reason. Probably TNA stain, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But and that he got the fucking glorious thing over, and it was probably his idea. And that's the worst thing you could do is take your idea, have them green light it and not be theirs. You have to make them think it's theirs. The glorious thing was way over, bro.
Yeah. So So anyway, so
it
to
should
see
have been
to
Glorious versus Sean Spears, right? We have Glorious and then fucking Spears with the 10, and then you even mix Finn in. Everyone who does an arm thing with a light thing gets thrown into fucking together, and then we see who's the you know, because
then we can have a 6-man against the new European Union faction they got going on SmackDown.
yeah,
now,
right. But in the ring, those 3 guys stand off, and Rude just goes, and the crowd goes Glorious, and then fucking Spears gets hot and goes 10, and the crowd fucking goes 10, and then Finn goes, oh, and they all fucking do that. Like, now we're working. That is Scott Hall working right there and getting your entrance over in the ring on the spot, bro. And then it breaks down. It can even become a comedy where it's like you're directing the crowd, Glorious, and everyone's doing it, and then you do it fast until the guys break down and start punching each other. That's the spot.
Yeah. Well, you can't do anything that gets over because, like you said, look what happened to all 3 of those guys. Finn Balor's still there, but he's not nowhere where he should be at compared to his skill level. So, I find that disappointing. But anyway, here we are, and we've got these guys in this scene here. But I do think it's funny how it's like we're not going to talk about the fact that you didn't fix the problems NXT had. You're just going to quietly try to do what you can to pop a number or whatever you think, or like you.
Or did they billboard that on Raw that all 3 of those guys were going to be there? Tune in, don't miss it. Miz TV is going to kick off.
Did I see Miz on Raw saying he was going to be on NXT? I didn't. Did you?
No.
Oh.
So there. This is where developmental is disconnected from the main roster. Or the other part of that is they fucking somebody called that yesterday and goes, can we get Miz TV opening segment? Or Miz is just hanging in the back. These are all possible scenarios. Miz is hanging in the back. He's in Florida. He's not going home with the wife's at home with the kids. He says, fuck it, I'll go to NXT. And they go, hey, dude, we got this scene. Would you want to be in it and do Miz TV to open it? It could have got switched on the fly an hour beforehand. And Miz is just doing, like I said, helping developmental kids out who go, fuck yeah, I get to be in a scene with the Miz, even though it's LA Knight. He's not saying that.
Yeah, right.
But you know what I mean? There are opportunities, like I'm saying that way. With Mandy Rose, even though she's not the best worker, she was on the main fucking roster for 4 years. Her coming back down was smart for her not to get clipped, but those girls have only gotten better by working with her and getting the rub as a mean girl.
They're not getting better fast enough. So yeah, well, so that's interesting too, because now, you say that we send these guys down here to help. We also sending guys up. Why is a random Braun Breaker showing up on Monday Night Raw? What's up with that?
Props to Elizabeth. Maybe she heard it. She said she swore. Elizabeth, come on, don't swear. They did say that there would be a fucking Miz TV on Raw.
Well, we don't even know what that means, because I'm sure even if it's special, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be on NXT. Right. I don't know, man. So the thing here though that you haven't been seeing is one of our fun weekly things that Ray and I have is where I point out something ridiculous that Dolph Ziggler said when he was trying to sound cool, and it wasn't anything specific in this particular scene, but the way the promo is coming off is LA Knight wants the match, and Dolph is saying like, you're not on my level, and he's saying like he's making fun of like, like the vet character, like not when you find out where the main event is, kid, then we can talk. It's like, and then right after that, the Miz is like, well, you heard it, a main event tonight is LA Knight versus Dolph Ziggler. It's like completely not. He did not yes and any of this. He said no twice. And then Miz was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. So what the hell was that train wreck in there?
Yeah, we didn't say yes and. That's a very good point. And we can say yes and to the game, but that means LA Knight, I mean, he lays out Rude. So is that the instigation that now it's on that way? You know what I mean? Or no, that was Breaker at the end. Sorry, I fucked that up. LA Knight. Yeah, we needed to find a way to button that scene, but they can't. They don't want to touch beforehand. So some dummy. Yeah, I mean, he gets all the LA Knight, and the call and answer stuff is over. They've got them Pavlovian conditioned enough to get there. The out just wasn't very strong.
Yeah. Well, But it does kind of like it's somewhat disconcerting that you can't even get it together for just this one segment where you're trying to get to like a main event match and Dolph Ziggler's not even going there.
Right.
It's
Well,
like
we
nope,
had-
nope,
had-
can't do it, not on my level. And now the Miz is booking the match.
Right.
He like essentially booked the match. So
Hey, dude, fucking, this is WWE. We had a segment on Raw with RK Bro where Randy's like, no, you got to jump through all the hoops, walked away for 30 seconds, came back and booked their own WrestleMania match against Street Profits. So this compared to that is fucking way more coherent than what I saw that way. So,
yeah. Well, I don't normally, I normally take a bunch of copious notes, but I don't really have anything here,
that's fine.
Ben. So what do
No,
you think we can do results wise? Cause,
I got it right here in front of me. Yep.
all right.
So yeah, obviously we get this match made, and Miz TV kicks off the show. The crowd's hot; they're with it. It feels like a little less country bumpkin OVW crowd and a little more Southern dirtbag. I saw some big old floppy titties and a Mickey Mouse shirt in the crowd. So to me, that means obviously we're dealing with the 85 percenters. NXT North American title ladder match qualifier: Cameron Grimes versus Santos Escobar, who I think is doing his own little Razor Ramon hair slick back kind of tribute tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Props to him, man. I thought he looked cool, but he's a heel and he looks like a baby. Or have they turned him baby? That's one thing I might be off because you've been watching.
No, but they haven't turned anybody anything, but you know how this is because you watch her on SmackDown. They're just throwing anybody against anybody, and it doesn't make sense anymore. That no one has a concept of their character. Okay. So he's still doing his character, but they're now booking him again. Well, I mean, I guess he's still kind of a heel here. I mean, Cameron Grimes is a babyface, so
yeah. I mean, all the stuff he did with LA Knight, $1 Million Man, that was a great rub. That was a great use of a legend in a storyline. We go to break, though, and then we come back from break, and we get Mackenzie Mitchell with Cora Jade backstage and asked about her partner, Raquel Gonzalez, being injured last week. She probably took a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. And her attack on NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose, you might have heard of her. Jade says it's simple. Toxic Attraction has hell to pay, vet. She said Gonzalez is out 4 to 6 weeks and is looking for Toxic Attraction. She feels they'll be looking for her also. We also see that Jade has stolen all 3 of the title belts. Excellent thievery, I must say. Like, everyone's got heat just leaving their belts out like that in their bags. We go back to the ring, and Legado de Fantasma's out. Santo Escobar with Elektra Lopez with all the cakes and fucking jingle jangle gimmicks that you want to take a look at. Raul Mendez and Joaquin Wilde are with them. Cameron Grimes is also in the ring. Hayes talks on commentary with Trick. Man, this is way too fucking whatever. A lot of back and forth in here, man, between these two. I like Cameron Grimes. I think he's been great since Impact. I think he did a great job reinventing himself as Cameron Grimes, as some weird dirtbag character, but now he's been cooled off. And people say wins and losses matter. I've said this before. They do, but you don't understand how they matter. It's not that you're 19-0 or 19-4, whatever the record is for AEW. It's about your character and how they respond to the win or the loss. And we see this later with Grimes, where he tells the truth about himself, that 3 years has been kind of a disappointment. He's never gotten the belt. And what's that going to drive him to do? Something extreme. Now I'm interested to see what's going to pull him out of the depression, or he's going to stay in the depression and he needs somebody to come along and grab his hand and pull him up out of the hole so they can be tag partners together. So a change is coming. And as an audience member, now I anticipate it and I look forward to say, what are you going to give me creatively? And I trust that it's going to be good because everything else I've seen from this guy was character stellar. He took Doggy Coin and fucking made it his thing. $1 Million thing made it his thing. Like, there's a lot of great stuff there, dude. So, we have, I guess, heels up here, even though it feels baby the way he's dressed. The biggest thing I had, the problem with this, we're doing Ranas on the floor and all this shit, but it was safe enough. Is a jump up at the end by the hot Latino chick, man. And then the other girl comes over and fucking grabs her ankle and pulls her down. Yeah. That was here, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yes.
But the
So
the other girl was
she had like blue, whatever, like a top on. Am I in the right segment here? I think I am.
I thought that I thought something happened, but I mean, essentially Cameron Grimes ended up losing.
He
So
loses, but like that's whatever. The loss is there because the promo comes later. This is a safety thing, and this pisses me off because we're in developmental, and we've got these awesome coaches there who've been on the fucking road, who know what's what. Guys I've worked with, Ken Doan and fucking, plenty of others who know wrestling a lot better than I do. And when I see these things that I know, it makes me cringe because they're not being taught the right way. So when somebody jumps up on the fucking apron and it does a distraction, but they're going to get cut off and pulled off the apron, or if you're a heel and you're going to pull somebody, you grab them by the belt and you grab them by the leg, or you grab them by the leg and then you grab them by the belt, and then you pull, but not really, hard to jerk them off the apron, and you let go of that fucking foot. So you're guiding, it looks like you're really pulling them by the waist. You're helping guide them down, and they get to land with both of their feet. This girl's on the apron in goddamn boots with 4-inch heels on them, bro. Yeah. This girl pulls her, just grabs her by the ankle, woof, to pull her out. She's got to now she is like, oh shit, the ground's coming at me fast. She instantly turns out of instinct to take an ass bump on the fucking apron, but she's still falling and has to land on one foot on these heels, almost turns her ankle and goes to the floor. As unsafe and as wrong as I've ever seen it done. And I've seen it done wrong on plenty of indie shows, and that's exactly what that girl did. We got to have broken down, to keep it simple, stupid level. Ankle, waist, pull out, let go, guide them down, turn, then get your shit in, because somebody is going to bust. And Charlotte's equally as stupid, going to the ring in 4-inch hooker pumps, dude. Like, they're just more, they think nothing's going to happen to them. Ask Big E. Dude,
it's unsafe enough when you've got the proper footwear on.
Yeah.
So you don't want to, lower your odds of.
Exactly. And now you got somebody super green who doesn't know and obviously hasn't been trained. In their mind, yeah, it looks good movie-wise. But in the movie, we can say cut, and we got fucking stunt, things laid out. You got to do this shit where there's a balance between the safety and the realism. And if it's not there, then you shouldn't be doing the spot, especially if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of the people were saying that might have been in a later match.
That was later. Yeah. Sorry. I might have effed that up. I was hot about it because I think this was just Santos Escobar going over. After the match, Escobar stands tall. Music hits. We go to replay. Fans chant Santos. Now Legado del Fantasma stands tall, staring at Hayes and Trick, who taunt them from the announce table. Escobar and Hayes join the other three superstars in the stand and deliver ladder match.
Yeah, that's the thing you were saying about the babyface. It's the fact that they're kind of, even though there's going to be a ladder match, but they're pairing off a heel group against a pair of heels in that scene right there. It's like a face-off, which I'm okay with that, because I'm not of the mindset that every heel has to be best friends and every babyface has to be best friends. They probably shouldn't like each other, like crossways, but I think a true heel would not get along with anybody, let alone, just because the crowd's booing you, you're my friend now. No. So that's okay. But
that chick's way too hot too. Like, she really has to heel on the crowd and be like, none of you could ever slide in my DMs to like, fuck you, bitch. And then if you're going to show off the assets that she paid for and the fucking, the mini skirt and all that, because otherwise every dude at home is going, God damn, she's fine as a motherfucker, bro, which is the last thing you want people is liking your heels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the issue here, this is starting to become a problem. I'm noticing even more than I ever did before. It's something that Carmelo says when he's on commentary, because I think Vic Joseph asks him, why do you want to put your North American title on the line in a ladder match? And he's like, why not? And I'm like, since when does any heel ever want to have a match? Every heel ever just wants to show up, get paid, and not have any matches ever and keep their championships. But all of a sudden, like you may not have seen this, but when the ladder match was announced, they ended the show or something like with him like making the announcement like a stand and deliver. It's going to be a ladder match for this. Like, who the hell ever volunteers to put their title on the line in a ladder match of all things? What heel?
The whole thing should be a rib on him that what do you call it? William Regal is putting him in these matches. He's knocking on Regal's door thinking that he's in there fabing him. He's not there at all. Like, so we can, I can't believe, man, it's on management. Why do they keep putting me in these matches? I'm the best wrestler. They keep trying to test me every way around. So now I got to have ladders. I got to have this in my life. Like, that's a heel should be bitching about it. And then going to look for management and ribs on him. The baby face puts up Regal's nameplate and he doesn't know he's fired and make him look stupid, whatever it is, bro. He goes to the next door, knocks on it, Triple H, and the Triple H ain't in his office and whatever. And then he open the door, Sean's on the phone and gives him the 1 second, close the door, and he's fucking even more mad. Like, play out the fucking game, man. How can we hide and explore the comedy while it still incites anger at our heel?
No, instead it's heels have the idea to put themselves at the worst possible position to win. That's Ben. Can I ask you a question? A little sidebar.
Sure.
Is every day the new worst day ever in wrestling history?
It's fucking seems like it sometimes. I did like the finish of SmackDown because they did action. Even she used the smile maker on Charlotte, my shit. And Pat Buck got punched in the face and sold away, and it made me laugh.
Well, he's always groping these ladies in the pull apart, so he gets what he deserves.
He got fucking mollywopped twice hard. And I liked how Raw ended with, even though those guys made their own match in a weird way, things got switched around because they couldn't get Cody for Jacksonville. So rewrite it at 3.
Couldn't.
Didn't want to pay. So there's things I have liked this week, but that it is that every week you're just like, holy shit, how are these people on TV? How did they get these spots? I can name 20 wrestlers who would kill for these fucking spots and would outshine everybody on your roster, bro. And agents who are agenting things just to be yes men instead of really making the best show. But I don't put it on them because they're getting 7 different things handed to them as it gets rewritten.
That's the whole thing. The people that the yes men say yes to have been doing this so long, they should never allow these things to happen.
They just keep worming their way back into these spots, dude, until Vince is dead, Bruce is gone, Ace is gone, Dunn is gone. There's going to be zero change. There's going to be zero change, bro. The only thing that will change are the lower mid-card guys that were former employees who get the agent spots, and then more NXT people who are ill-trained in character development to bring anything to life, except for Vince McMahon's puppet mastering of where he can have his hand literally up Edge's fucking ass and go, this is the real me. I'm the fucking dude. Like,
why didn't Edge say no? Why didn't he just say, no, I'm not doing that?
That goes to show you if Edge can't say no, then what the fuck do you expect Doudrop to do?
Yeah.
You got EST is working as a heel when she's the baby face, and now the fucking retribution from Becky, I'm going to cut your hair off, bitch, makes sense because she whipped her with it in a heel way instead of cutting the hair first, and then EST comes out and gets retribution and whips her like she's fucking Indiana Jones. Like, they did. These baby faces are the biggest assholes, and the heels are justified in their retribution. That's not how you book wrestling. I said this the other day. It's 180 degrees backwards and inside out. How do you fucking do that?
It's got to be a rib on us. It has to be actively like a choice. Like, you could not accidentally do this. Your instincts wouldn't let you. You have to be saying, let's see how much we can piss these
was going to run over dude with the fucking 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it, I'll run him over. Like,
yeah.
That's a full heel fucking thing.
Just a little vehicular homicide on your network TV show.
These baby faces
for the kids.
Biggest asshole baby faces of all time.
All right, sidebar over. Let's get back into this brilliance.
We get Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray talking about NXT finals of the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic. Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu declare that Toxic Attractions reign over NXT. What is up with this Wendy Chu character? Is that the fucking tape trader, masturbator, anime schoolgirl that looks like a 12-year-old?
No, that's later. Wendy Chu is.
Oh no, she's the.
She used to be Mei Ying with the Mortal Kombat group,
Right.
and then they killed that gimmick, and now she's getting a completely opposite gimmick over, in which she's some sort of a narcoleptic. I think is the idea.
I kind of like that. I think that's fucking.
Bro, you haven't even seen the half of it, man. You should go back and see her debut. It was great, but
It was good.
but yeah,
I could write some funny stuff for that, bro.
yeah, it's a similar. It's like, you know. It's not Orange Cassidy, but it's in that vein of we're going to have a total gimmick character, but they're decent enough to pull it off, I guess.
That's a beautiful thing. I just, my creative juices get going when I hear that. Those great things, like, because you condition your audience to, like, she falls asleep in the ring, she falls asleep wherever, and she can't drive. So, you know, what have you, she's there. But then after you establish that, you have another storyline where there's a big point of order front loaded with business. She's in the background passed out and everybody knows it. And you go, and the people are like, no, don't worry, she's not going to say. You say some inside information, they exit, and then Wendy Chu gives you one eye open to let you know she wasn't really sleeping. She's in on it, and then goes to like, then that's the beauty of establishing a fucking little game like that. Play the game, play it out. Heighten and explore goes into these people's worlds. That's what they should be doing with Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, and they don't have a goddamn clue how to do that. Not a clue.
No, they sure don't. But but yeah, that's one unexploited thing is the universe. You're in the WWE, you're in a building and you know everybody's under that roof. NXT, same thing, Performance Center, they're all under that roof, but it's like you can only see one person at a time. You're not allowed to see the interaction. They do it a little bit more in NXT, but in like Raw or SmackDown, it's like, nope, only one person exists at a time. We can't have any, there's no like living, breathing backstage area. It's just, nope, just this person and nothing else.
I do like the names Chu and Kai. It makes me laugh together, Chu Kai.
Ka-choo. Bless you.
I choose you.
There's a picture of a train.
But Mandy Rose tells him to get it done next week. Toxic Attraction's hot, but they're very weird, is what Chu and Kai agree on.
Yeah, that's true. That's a shoot.
Vic sends us to a hype video for A-Kid. Back from commercial, we get A-Kid and Kushida.
Oh, man. A-Kid must have one boring fucking entrance because the debuting A-Kid gets the jobber standing in the ring already spot.
Right. But, dude, I got to tell you, this kid is a pure athlete. Now, is there money written on him character-wise? I don't know.
Nope.
But I was goddamn impressed with his chain and what they did, whether it was mixing in, you know, reverse out, get on them, spin on them, sit out, Syracuse, sit through, come back, arm, get back over, roll through, come back, sit out again. They were on the mat. They did like some springboard stuff into dragon or Japanese arm drags. I wanted them to stay on the mat. Like I'm glad. One thing I applaud them for, they didn't stop and do the RVD Lance fucking Storm
Indie appreciation clap.
Yeah, dude, fuck that, bro. I'm so tired of it. Only people I put over for that is Rob and a couple other ECW guys. Every indie guy who does that now can fuck off. And these guys didn't, which made me want to watch them chain, but they just did chain in a different way, a spot chain. But they had me in the Adam Revolver OVW chain. I wanted to see another 2 minutes of that instead. And then when Kushida gets out chained, Vet, what does he do?
He starts to get a little frustrated and start to get a little more physical with the strikes.
There was no strikes in the fucking ground chain. There was no strikes in the arm drag chain, and there was no standoff. He just got to him, bealed him over, gets to the ropes, frustrated. Kushida strikes. Kushida's a baby face. This is a baby match, but somebody has to be a heel. Mm-hmm. This is wrestling 101. Wrestling is a competition for dominance. When someone can, is out wrestled, that's what forces them to then have to strike like a boxer, because and the baby face should even sell that, like, what the fuck did you hit me for? We're wrestling. But he doesn't. We go into striking, which isn't wrong, but it's not the most pure choice if you're going to OVW, Al, Rip, fucking Cornette level, right? So Kushida makes himself the heel, even though he's a liked babyface, by striking. That's wrestling psychology. The crowd probably doesn't understand that. Just like, oh, he hit him and chopped him. Ric Flair, woo, that's what we do. But that is the true key turn in this match, where Kushida then becomes the heel, and we want a kid to go over, so it means something when he does go over. I fucking really like this match, dude. This A kid is a fucking true athlete. They put over his soccer acumen. I was hoping that he'd have a big kick finish where he fucking punts him in the ass or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, set it up with a big kick.
Well, that's everything you're describing there that's pure Kushida, and that's pure New Japan. I know that you disparage New Japan a lot, but the truth is that is the majority of what they do there. It's not, New Japan is not the Young Bucks. New Japan is not Kenny Omega. New Japan is not any of those guys that went over there and did what they want for a few years or a few tours or whatever. New Japan is what you just said. It's wrestling, and then it escalates when it needs to get the action up, and gets all the character work that you need inside the ropes. That's the true New Japan, and that's what we get from Kushida here. So,
and let me tell you, like, what the fuck is in this. So they go home with a big high spot. Kid stuns them and chops them, nails a moonsault DDT, and it was, I don't be like, your moonsault DDT was sloppy because you ain't catching Hacker doing it, but everything else was so in the moment, competitive, back and forth. When you got to the spot, you knew it was a spot, and it was off just by that much. It still was believable, but it was off, and I felt it go, instead of catch wrestling and catching him out of nowhere and fucking catching him with something. You know what I mean? They did work a lot on his, meat chopping head and stuff, like, to get that, but that's the difference, man. He could have caught him with almost anything. And or let him take himself out in a quick wrestling roll-up. Maestro Cradle would have been believable right there.
Yeah, so good stuff. But to answer your question, no, A-Kid's not going to get over with character. I don't know why they chose him of all people in the UK. They got quite a few people over there that are very interesting, entertaining, and unique, and they kind of got this guy. Now, he is the only guy from, like, the only shoot Spanish guy, like Spain Spanish, that they've ever had. So, like, if that is that a new market they need to break into, Spain? I'm pretty sure they're over in Spain already. So just having one guy from Spain, I don't think that's going to satisfy the that cabal that's been running the whole thing since the beginning.
Those Spaniards, the Spanish gold is the next big thing.
Some doubloons, like, he's going to come out with the pirate ship.
Yeah, don't give him any ideas. He'll be out there with Hogan and Titus by fucking me. Mackenzie's backstage with Legato. This is where, you can congratulate them, and it's time to stand and deliver. I'm like, why do we keep saying stand and deliver? Like, I want to go fucking watch
the movie. It's the 35th anniversary of the Edward James Olmos Classic,
Edward James Olmos Classic. Fucking
pretty sure it is. But yeah,
Bamba in there was fucking great. What's his name? Fucking
Lou Diamond Phillips?
Lou Diamond Phillips. I met him, I went and saw him in King and I on Broadway and met him afterwards. He's short enough to be in NXT. The Mysterios. Yeah, dude, he's tiny. The Mysterios, Rey Mysterio, Dominic appear, fans pop. The Wild and Mendoza are excited at first, but Escobar looks at them, tells them to shut the fuck up. Dominic says his father is really the greatest of all time. Electra Lopez says Escobar will be the one to break all of Ray records. I don't know about that. Ray insists his son is the luchador of the future, and one way to break the records, Dominic came here to fight, and they're down to fight. Escobar says Dominic just made the biggest mistake of his life. The biggest mistake of your life. You should have sang it, man. Still to come, Saray versus Tiff Stratton. We get a recap of the heat of the Mean Girls. See, here's another WWE problem. We got Tiffany Stratton, the heel, versus Saray, and Tiffany Stratton is getting heel heat worked on her by the babyface. Like, what are we doing here, man? I get that they're sexy and whatnot, but the you want to keep it simple, stupid, for the youngest of your developmental. And this was, to some degree, she did the handspring back elbow, the classic girl shit, twisting Vader bomb for the second rope to get the pin on her. So Tiffany Stratton up here, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, even though it was a get over, she seemed frustrated and angry instead of cocky and like daddy's girl.
Well, the whole, as you saw from the recap, this whole riveting story began when Saray was just having some girls admire her necklace that her grandma gave her that gives her special powers backstage. And Tiffany came by and said, "That looks kind of cheap. I'll buy you a new one." And she's like, "No, thank you." And then that flipped a switch in Tiffany Stratton's mind. So she beat the shit out of her. And now that you know that,
I like
you
to
know that
hot backstage though. That was good.
We started hot backstage because Saray uses the power of her grandmother's necklace to transform into a superhero on the way through the curtain. So normally,
like a Hiro Nakamura type thing.
So normally, now this is the phoniest shit you're going to see on NXT, but normally they have a pre-tape that's the same footage of her walking in her schoolgirl outfit with the necklace, and when she comes through the curtain, she's got her gear on and she's all ready to fight,
Dude,
right? So it's
like that, bro. Like,
yeah,
I haven't.
Well,
met
fuck
this.
you, Ben. Fuck you for liking that.
No, I like it. It's not because I like it. That's what I'm into.
No.
What's the number one thing we did in OVW? Because we had green guys who can't wrestle. So you focus on
character.
Yeah. And little
Gimmick.
shitty pre-tapes, bro, to get them. Like, that's why I'm saying I like it, because as Adam Revolver would say, you go to war with the army you got, not the army you want. You're a lifeguard. There's 33 people drowning out there. How many can you fucking save? Like, that's what you're dealing with as a writer and director dealing with developmental. They're all anxious and hungry. They just don't have the skills developed yet, right? So we got a masquerade where we could hurt each other in the ring with character. And if it's little entertainment things like that, where it's a pre-tape, but she's two characters and split, and the reason she got beat is because she cut her off because we played that game out and the crowd didn't get that, but they understand it. Dude, I don't know this guy, Joey Russo, but I hear a lot of this stuff is kind of his baby and like helps get it along. If that's the truth, and hopefully, actually, special happy birthday to Jimmy Paradise Long today. The Kamikaze Kid birthday today. Kamikaze
Kid. Remember when Zeus was like, "Hey, Kamikaze Kid, there's one more K in that name. We're going to have a problem."
Quality. But these are the guys who know how to do character or write for it. And that takes time off the clock, entertains your audience, and protects your talent. It's not like I'm like, yay, she's got the Pokemon charm from her grandma. At least your conditioning can explain that to me, man, and it fucking is good enough for me, bro. You know, as far as that goes, I like that. So shout out to those guys. Right, that's better writing than anything I've seen on the mainstream shows.
Certainly. So, but now I guess it makes sense why she was kind of like, she's still getting her shit in the match, what short as it was with her little acrobatics, but. That's why she's mad, I guess. I guess she couldn't get over it in the 2 or 3 weeks since this originally happened. She's still, she's still fuming, or maybe she's in some sort of like a time lapse thing where she only thinks about things when she's on camera, and the rest of her life is just on pause the whole time, right?
But I like that you told me that there's a whole nother Power Ranger side to her, because I was like, what the fuck is this pedophile shit that we're dressing a 12-year-old schoolgirl, and that's a character that we now have in NXT. So I like that that's only part of it. I didn't know that the other part existed, because I was just worried about like some weird dudes at fetish at home. That's who we're fucking booking for.
There's probably still some of that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in there. Good home taste. It's in there. Gunther approaches LA Knight backstage. Walter doesn't respect Knight for being a loudmouth and embarrasses to pro wrestling. Knight says Gunther doesn't have to respect anything except for the fact he's about to become NXT champ. Yeah, Knight has no problem with giving Gunther a title shot. Gunther says Knight isn't a champion. He's just a disgrace like Jordan Grace. Then he have a few more words, and Knight says
say that.
Thank you. Says the difference between them has to do with Sports entertainment. Gunther has the first half, but Knight has both. Knight walks off, and he's got a match in Walter Mean mugs for the camera. Money written on both of these guys. I like the yin and the yang of what they are, and I thought Walter delivered here. And he's got movie star heel look written all over him, bro. Like he definitely should be in the Die Hard remake.
Yeah, Ben, I'm glad that you're here because you're the perfect person to talk about this with.
Yeah.
Some of the chatter I see is like Walter has no charisma. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you not know there's different types of charisma?
Right, absolutely.
Like everybody is not Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you're not getting your shit across. Like that you can't cut a promo, that you can't be a character. Walter is exactly the character that he's supposed to be, despite the stupid name change. Which is just one of many. But you, I know you of all people, a performer, a stage veteran. Like I know you can see these things better than just some random dudes on Twitter. But like, I've always thought from the moment I saw Walter, I was like, this guy's got it. Like charisma wise, even forget the matches. Just when you see him, his body language, his facials, and his, having a stoicism is not to be mistaken for having no charisma.
You got it.
It's like,
you got it. It's ice cold, dude. Was fucking Clint Eastwood a goddamn like big?
No charisma.
Everybody like stoic is the perfect word.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Right.
It's one line. It's in a look. It's in a reaction to a situation. It's in tension. It's the building of tension, intention, and tension in the scene. Of him just being in there, of hearing a German accent, of hearing those things. Like, not everybody has to be the fucking Fuhrer and, arms all over.
Right.
He had scary fucking SS enforcers who just need to knock on your door and be standing there. And it's fucking about to get real. That's what that guy is, man. He's a great fucking heel who has to do very little. In fact, the best acting we do is when we say nothing at all, and the big things of less is more. That's exactly who that guy is, bro. Stoic is the perfect word for that.
All right, you heard it here, everyone.
Yep, I think he's great. I like him. Then this I really like too. Tommaso's is backstage. He's headed to the ring to say something. Obviously, we came up with this guy from manager when he was a skinny little manager, and he's busted his ass on the indies, became a father, put on as much muscle mass as you possibly can, been a locker room leader, had epic fucking storylines, heel turns, battles, best friends battles, gets it fully, understands his business fully. And a lot of times when guys reach the end, their go home or appreciation is on an indie show. And it is what it is when they say goodbye. Very few people get to say how much they appreciate this business, the opportunity, the ridiculousness that we even get to talk about it and or live it and talk about our finish, of how we want to do it as he's going to the main roster, saying goodbye to the territory he helped make in a way that is very honest, almost so honest that it went a little long in the tooth in the second act of it when he was like, who am I going to face? How's going to go out? You really had to like draw him in. He got him back. We probably could have shaved a minute, but this was just pure talk. And it's not some big promo. It's got to get business done. And in the end, out comes Tony Soprano Jr. to fucking, be the guy that says, I could have jumped you with this crowbar right here, but I want to face you straight up at the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania coming up, whatever they call it, Inside Edition. Well, I can't remember what the fuck they're calling their pay-per-view. I'm going to make my name by taking you out. So Tommaso is drawn back in the phony wrestling world. Tommaso should get beaten because you do business on your way out the door to help get a guy over. Now, the chat was like, maybe Grayson Waller's a better choice than this guy because Tommaso is kind of broken out of any character, that he is. He's just Tommaso there and being himself. This guy's a pretty heavy believe in me character. Hey, forget about it, do bots and I fucking whack people. No, you don't kill people, but we're along for the ride or whatever. Grayson Waller is more of a real person And it might, I just don't know if the real person world and the heavy character world meshed there. Maybe Grayson Waller's injured, and this is the guy they had to put in there. I'm not sure, but I thought this was a great swan song for Tommaso. I was very happy psychologically for a guy that we came up with that he got the opportunity after all that hard work to say something honest to the audience about how he felt. Not a lot of people, except for retirement parties, get to say that kind of stuff in our business, especially, or your Hall of Fame induction. Those are about the only 2 chances you get.
He cut a lights out promo last week, and I put that over. And but that was more like, the short, like 1 minute, you got 1 minute, and then you do sit in the chair, say your 1 minute, and then throw the chair when you leave. That's kind of his thing. But I usually don't care when he does that, but this time he nailed it.
But they fucked him up on the main roster in his debut. If you're going to put him in a tag, he should have turned at the end of the tag when they fucking don't go over right away.
Well, is this a debut? I don't even know. Is it just him doing something because it's part of the NXT business, or
he's going up to the main roster? This is his business on the way out.
Are you sure? Okay, well, you say so.
Because what's the real match? If you were really going to book this, it ain't Grayson Waller. It ain't Tony Soprano. Who is it?
I don't know where your thought process is.
There's one match. If you're doing the Tommaso Ciampa NXT Swan Song, and the one match that's going to go down at the pay-per-view, and it's not to do business on the way or anything, is Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's what's going to blow the fucking roof off and make the internet go buck and everybody fucking tunes in, All
right. Well, so what I really want to know is, why can't we ever have one of these that doesn't immediately turn into phony wrestling? Like, why can't he just have this moment here, and then WrestleMania is not for another couple of weeks? So why are they shotgunning every single idea that they have and then just having to tread water for longer and longer? Cannot he's come out and say his speech, and then whatever, and then Tony comes out either later in the show to just Mackenzie, or next week to somebody else, and say, it's a shame that Tommaso said that blah, 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 because I had a few things to say to him, blah, blah, blah. Like, why does it always have to just immediately just go right into phoniness?
Yeah.
Like, we can't have anything to enjoy that can just breathe. We just have to do everything to beat people over the head with how fake this is.
You're spot on, and that's Tony Khan 101's. That's my biggest gripe with his fucking booking, but he don't have no big brother to tell him different. I like what you're saying there. Let him have that moment and fucking NXT, and he puts the mic down, boom, and he's walking up the ramp, turns backwards for one more. Thank you guys, I love you. That's where Tony comes out and doesn't do the I could have hit you, but you don't say nothing. You fucking hit him and you drop him.
No, then that's even more phony wrestling. We just let the moment live.
On our way out, we got to do.
But that's an anticipation thing. Like you expect the attack, and then we don't get. I'm not saying you don't get to the match, but you don't have to get to it in the same exact segment.
Yeah, but I think just leaving them there and having Tommaso on the ground in pain, and you do the upshot on Tony, and he's fucking holding the gimmick, and then you go to commercial that way. Then next week, it's Tony's fucking mic time to say why he did what he did, and Tommaso comes out, runs him off fucking hot, and we're off to the races that way, dude. I just need more show, don't tell. I'm so tired of tell, plot. Stop fucking talking and show me something.
Well, I'm tired of people getting hit with crowbars and then getting nothing but a match for their troubles instead of suspended, arrested, fined, all the other things that we see. Like, what was this? What was this shit? Like, like we were talking about this on SmackDown too. You have Brock Lesnar in the Garden, gets laid out by Roman Reigns. Who starts SmackDown and who's not there?
Who starts SmackDown? Who's not there?
Yeah, Brock comes out on SmackDown after being laid out.
He chases Hamin in a 40.
Right. So apparently that beatdown meant jack shit because he's fine. And then Roman's not even there. So I don't know. Yeah, Stevie Richards is right, 100%.
Yeah, of course, always. Yeah, man. It's the mixing of a heavily like character with a real moment that is, I think, the hardest part of that pill to swallow. And but we got to do biz for the
Well,
kids.
if we do, and that's the other thing. If we do business, why do we have to do the big tearful goodbye of you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
because you don't have to mix everything all the time.
Well, if he does the tearful goodbye, then next week you got to have the inciting incident backstage, because why would he be back in the ring again? You know what I mean? To be out there.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
you could have him entice Tommaso back, like, oh, you're just gonna walk. You don't know what you're gonna do. I'll tell you what you're gonna do. I run this place, and you're gonna, you know what I mean, and I'm gonna take your head before you go. That kind of whatever it takes to it's like the Unforgiven, when they kill his friend and then he starts drinking. You know what I mean? Like you get.
Or how about this? Tommaso fucking does all that in Swan Song and At the end of the night, this is how we close the fucking show. Can't do kidnappings and wrestling. Oh yeah, watch me. We got mob guys. Fucking Tommaso's walking out, and they fucking buffalo him there, throw him in the fucking trunk, zip them, and fucking off they go that way. You know what I mean? And we do something along those lines. You're gonna give me the fucking match at WrestleMania, you fucking stunad. You know what I mean? We get him tied to a chair. You can take it whichever way you want to take it, but that there's 10 ways to skin a cat. You know how to rewrite a scene as well as anybody. So I appreciate your ideas of not stepping on business there. I'm just thinking of the OVW fucking bling, ding, 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 ding crowd that you got to fucking spook. Like that's just how
they're going to be there next week. So
yeah,
no hurry.
I'd love to make it a Jerry Bruckheimer, David Chase type production, sure.
If they haven't run these people off by now.
Then we get an interesting thing. Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada.
I'm not even going to try to explain this one to you.
Yeah, they both come out, they're heels, and they come out together. They enter together. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it feels like really Iconics 2.0, kind of like the stunt double version of it.
The Spaceballs stunt double version.
The Spaceballs version, kind of. We get some weird stuff here where they try and one up each other as heels. Some turnbuckles that looked pretty shoot. A big boot that was pretty nasty. Nasty and fake. A quick win, and then Dexter Loomis appears out from under the ring. And who's the world's sexiest guy? Duke Hudson. That's Persia Parada's man. And hits the bulldog out of the fucking corner for a 2 count. Loomis pops up, and then Persia gets the win. But that's not their business, really. We go into a scene with the couples, and I like this scene, pop me too, where it's one-upsmanship of like, here's my boyfriend. No, here's my boyfriend. And kiss, and then kiss. Then shirt rip and kiss, shirt rip and kiss, tackle him to the fucking ground, Luthez, hump him and fucking kiss him. Oh, then we got to do it. How far are we going to go? Are they going to finger bang her out here? Who's the first one to really go for it? But I like this. What I thought we were missing is getting it right to that edge and sending the fucking refs down to break it up like it's a big rumble. If we're going to do comedy that way, we could have heightened and explored this a little bit more. You know what I mean? And the girls are breaking it up, but they're trying to get back over to their man to make out with them more instead of how we do it in a pull apart where people are trying to beat the shit out of each other. There was another key turn in that scene that was there was some change left on the table there, bro, that we really could have amped that comedy up even more. But I like this. I thought it was good one-upsmanship, and they played out that game.
I have no notes. It was perfect.
It's wrestle crap. Gigi Dolan's backstage looking for Cora Jade. I wished it was Gigi Morgan. I'm a bigger fan of Gigi Morgan than Gigi Dolan. And then this is the second one of these. They left
right. This was are you talking about the Mickey Mouse Club version of Saw, where
and I like it.
Cora lays all these traps that has camera coverage on it somehow. Like
yeah. But I like this. So the first one that they left out is like a storage locker in the back, and the title's up high, and she goes and jumps for it, and it's got a string on it. When she pulls it down, the doors close behind her, and she locks her in there. So that was good, like funny enough little scene. Then we do this one where it's sitting on an open dumpster. The girl's like, shit. She goes, it's in the dumpster, and a big OSHA violation. Out comes a fucking forklift and pushes the top of the dumpster down and sits on there. So she's in the dumpster. Good rib on whoever talked her into doing that fucking scene. So there's part that. And then we get part 3 with Mandy Rose later. So unlike almost everything on Raw, we have an actual interwoven scene storyline thread going through this with, I don't know if the girl who had the 20-year-old girl with the Illuminati tits on, she had checkerboard top, former skateboard pro, if she's hurt and they're doing character because of that. But this was fine because the more these girls are in the ring, the better chance for injury and exposing how green they are. So let's do fucking character bits. And I like this.
Again, perfect. No notes. This is absolute.
All right, man. It's like, dude, I feel good. I'm always scared of the vet. If the vet gives me a good no, he said, that's it. Then I'm fucking old.
Obviously, I'm being facetious, Ben. This is terrible. This is fucking terrible. And they're never going to get better if all they do is these shitty home movies that they're these Bush League direct to DVD starring Val Kilmer and 50 Cent movies that they're trying to make.
I will remember more the girl getting shut in the dumpster than I would remember any match that those girls would ever fucking have.
I know. They may be more memorable, but sometimes there's bad imprints on your brain, not necessarily good ones.
Well, I'd rather take my chance of a forklift imprint on my brain than working most of these girls and fucking taking shoot turnbuckles. Dominic Mysterio's back in NXT, where he probably should have stayed for a little bit longer. Raul versus Raul Mendoza. I think this is where my whole rant earlier about the jump up and pulling her off, that was this scene. So I apologize for getting that fucked up. But this is good, man. And Dominic does look solid here. Dominic almost has to bend over. He's like making himself look smaller than he needs to be because of his dad's stature. I don't know, but like he could stand up a little straighter. But in the end, obviously Dominic goes over with a pretty badass frog splash, does the Eddie Guerrero before he fucking goes off on it. But big Dominic win, and the crowd pops fucking real big.
Do you think that this was, because I kind of had to cram this episode, so I wasn't watching it in normal speed, but do you think that I
mean, this is a great point by Lab Rat right here. Why didn't Miz have
sure, right? Yeah, it's in the building with the guys he's got an angle with, and they never, like I said, under the same roof, nobody else exists. It's we're all there, and we all know they're there, and we saw that they're there, but we don't get any interaction. So, but I mean, we've been watching not that much, but we've watched Dominic wrestle on, Raw and SmackDown for the past couple of years or whatever. Did he look better here in this match than he ever did before, or is that just my eyes playing tricks on me?
No, I thought Dominic was good, man. Put it over. There is a thing too, especially when I remember when I was green as shit, and I still suck in the ring, but like going from a manager to then like getting put in matches as the manager to pay off heat, to getting put into tag teams, to like now, okay, I only got to carry half the ball and I'm actually wrestling. What the fuck am I doing? Then getting thrown into singles, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got to step up to a level I've never really had to do before since practice. That's what I see with Dominic, and this is one of his first times to fly solo. You know what I mean? After having a co-pilot that can say, hey, do this, do that, and call it on the fly with him, who's better than him, obviously. And I thought he held up his end, man, and he stopped in the right spots to get the charisma over. I don't know about the skullet mohawk. That's kind of fucking stupid. Like
that's what these kids are doing now. I don't get it.
Yeah, he's definitely should be worried more about sex appeal than being a cool guy.
Yep.
Excuse me. Then Mysterio celebrate and the seg. We get Vic and Wade talking about the passing of Hall of Famer Scott Hall and send to the Razor package that we saw on Raw. Very well done. Master Shoot Theater, hilarious this week. Vince is actually getting death packages pre-done on people for the death pool. So they're ready to go for when, just in case we got them. So check out patreon.com/RussoTWC. One of my, I've said this a bunch, but this week, just the listening and back and forth with Stevie and Vince, you see Vince lay out. And when you're in that moment, man, and it's flowing, you just feel the energy, even through StreamYard, going back and forth. And Master Shoot this week was really special. It was a lot of fun. Back from break is the Cora Jade walking to the parking lot and holding Mandy Rose's NXT title. And she looks at what appears to be Mandy's new Range Rover. I didn't know it was Mandy's. I just see this girl get into a Range Rover. I go, of course. And NXT's talent spent all their money on a fucking Range Rover, like a dumbass. But apparently it's Mandy's, and she was just going to commit Grand Theft Auto as well as Grand Theft title. But then Mandy cuts her off, says, bitch, get the fuck out of my car and get into my dreams. And but lays her out and wanted to do an NWO spray paint thing on her back, which, what's her name? Toxic Attraction.
Yeah. Is that what she tried to do? A little TA?
TA, but it sprays.
Or a CQ for Caribbean Queen?
Is that what it was? But
no,
I'm
playing off your playing off your Billy Ocean reference earlier.
Oh, good one. Good. That one over my head. Good catch. But yeah, it didn't come off as NWO. It just came off as white paint on a girl's back. And heels get their titles back, but they did get embarrassed. But then Mandy Rose says Jade will never be on her level, and she never will be. And then supposedly spray paints the Toxic Attraction logo on Jade's back. It just looks like she skunk sprayed her. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the other two girls appear, and then Rose tells Jade, it's game over, bitch.
Now you know it's serious because she called her a bitch. Did you like the whole, this is like part 3 of the trilogy where they got the angles in there and they cut to see her rise up from the back seat? Was this all just
got to? Yeah, dude, because we can look through, these are they're not as Hardy Boys that level, but these are cinematic pieces that people are shooting and putting together to tell a movie within a movie, a play within a play. And I like that kind of shit, man. And they're just testing things out. And those types of cinematic moments will last longer and are actually something that you could show Vince McMahon and be like, look what they're doing with this. This was good. Yeah, I like that. Let's get that on there. As opposed to like, no one's going to watch a Cora Jade match and go, she needs to be on the main roster. Let's get her up here now. Like, these are the things that are going to open the doors for you far more than any match or any fucking spot you think you can or cannot do.
Yeah, until you get up there, and then they just have you have matches, and you don't get to have a movie, so then you get exposed anyway.
Good rib, either way. At least you got up there, though, right? That's the thing. Otherwise,
not yet. Mandy went back down, so just Mandy's on that 8-year Stone Cold run, man. 8 damn years, son.
Flying under the radar.
Maybe one day somebody will be calling her. Maybe one day Cora Jade will be on Monday Night Raw saying, Mandy Rose, I challenge you to be on the Cora Jade show at WrestleMania.
Dude, you're not far off, right? But at the end of the day, you got to give it up to Mandy Rose. They tested her. I'll go back down and get myself back over. Okay. I'll help girls who are green in a group and lead them and give them the shine. Okay. We really think you should change your look. Okay. I'll change my look. I'm hot as fuck. You can dye my hair whatever color you want. All these little tests, she's going through them all. And she still retains the senior status in these scenes. So as a worker, even when she was back doing stuff with Otis, she was committing to bits, man. You know what I mean? I got to put it over. I've never worked with her. I mean, obviously the sex appeal was there.
That's why they sent her back down to NXT, because she committed to the bits rather than suffer through their rib. And so they were like, oh, fine, you're going to try to get this over. Well, you need to go to NXT now.
Flying under the radar is not always the worst thing for a little amount of time. Sometimes it's a death fucking no. You know what I mean? I think for Finn Balor, it fucking crushed him. But I think she could bring that crew back up to the main roster and be the new Suicide Squad or whatever the fuck those girls were. What was their name? Riot Squad. We go back to Vic and Wade. Creed brothers, Malcolm Evans storm the ring. Brutus Creed and Julius Creed are fired up over getting these two guys who do the amateur wrestling thing. That it was even worse. It was amateur promo. They're just screaming into the mic and like, somebody did something to me. Be a man and come out here. You take the mic. Somebody did something to me. Be a man. Like, okay, it's amateur hour at the Apollo. I get it.
Well, these guys are too white to be at the Apollo, but I definitely
Get the
do
hook.
do agree with the amateur part. Yeah. Now this is probably what people.
To go.
These are what people need to see when they want to talk about people that don't have charisma. Screaming is not charisma.
No.
And no offense to those guys, they don't need to be like, again, even being stupid yelling guys, that can work for them. But it's just nothing we haven't seen before, right? This is just the 80s all over again. So
Right, but with this scene is so disjointed with the camera and the distance and the whatever. So up next, MSK's music hits. Out comes those guys with the NWO shirts on, a little bit too on the nose. And here's the other thing too. I like MSK. I've liked them since Impact. I love the fucking that 70s show shit. Their vignettes, they were always, those guys were committing to the bit. Even if it was like they were sitting on a small couch, like they'd get in there and make them even more uncomfortable. Those guys really get it. And they've been watered down since they've gotten here. And the problem is they still look like kids. They're must-see kids, right? And NWO is full of men. And when you see kids wearing NWO shirts, they looked like fans to me. They didn't look like too sweet me Briz, too cool for school, and I'm fucking over. Like I think that was a mistake.
You're right, and he also said "Hey yo" 2 times. Like, we heard you the first time.
Yeah.
It didn't get over then. You don't repeat it.
And fucking Owens opened Raw with it.
He opened Raw with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a choice. It's not their fucking on them completely. They have words and they say they didn't steal their shit. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck that, you didn't. They're screaming at them. And then up in the crow's nest, we get Imperium, and they say a bunch of British shit, and that they have the belt, and nobody stands up to anybody, and you're not on our level. I think this being the next level review, I think that's the number one NXT trope that must end. You're not on my level. You're all at shit level. You're all in developmental. Nobody, okay. And
you're all at Dolph Ziggler's level.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're in Rip's class or you in Al's class? Like, you remember the stigma of that? Like, it don't matter. Nobody's getting paid in Rip's class. Nobody's more over. You're paying Rip. Those guys up there in Al's class, half of them are rotten as fuck and aren't as good as Rip's guys, but they're getting paid. That's the difference if you want to fucking make it. But everybody's getting paid at NXT, no matter if you suck shit through a straw or you're the fucking top guy. So there's no division of who's better or who isn't.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're maybe trying to just keep it in the sports context of we're the champions and you can't be a champion.
Yeah, belts are props for guys who can't get over with character. Mackenzie's backstage with Grimes. Whatever. This fucking, they set up a match, a triple threat fucking tag match. Shocker. This was as wrestling trope and as bad as it gets, and it really started with this segment was tanked with these 2 kids in the ring screaming into the microphone. Like, they're not even ready to be on developmental TV, in my opinion, bro. So
agree.
Check him out on YouTube, Dark. Mackenzie is backstage with Cameron Grimes. He's not happy of the stand and deliver, watching it from home on his couch. Mentions all the disappointments his late father, so tells the truth about himself, wants to be a part of the show, and then walks off. So I look forward to see what his inciting incident will be as we see him go to a low point here. I liked it. The yin and the yang of the high and the low of the character. Living on high at the top of the world with Doggy Coin to being a disappointment. Money don't bring you happiness, right? What are the main stories we're telling? Then we get LA Knight versus Dolph Ziggler in a great OVW simple fucking match. Buckles, the chokehold on the ground, heat with a fish hook, back and forth, and then in the end, even he tries to zigzag him on the corner, but he holds on to the buckle, so Ziggler takes his own bump. Then he goes to get Ziggler in the corner, runs, takes a big chest bump himself, super safe, but it looked awesome. Turns back, super kick, Shawn Michaels style. That's what Stevie kick style, I should say. And and fucking 1, 2, 3, clean as a whistle, just like that. And LA Knight gets the tape that needs to go to Vince to possibly do something with Ziggler. So I like this business. And then Braun Breaker comes out, to get his shit in, and definitely looks and sounds like a Steiner is real pissed off. We had seen a bunch of good CCTV security camera footage earlier. I think we left that out of Braun Breaker showing up earlier in the day pissed off, and that he left and he wanted to fuck him up when they rolled up to the arena, and the agents and coaches cooled the situation down. So Braun left, or Breaker left. It's so terrible to not call him Steiner. It's the worst thing ever. And anytime, any place he wants it, Rude steps up to get in Breaker's face. He drops him with one punch. Robbie Roode takes a fucking hell of a bump, makes him look like a stud. And then Ziggler exits the ring and says anytime, any place he wants it, and holds the title in the air. So if it was me, I'd say, okay, then WrestleMania main event. How about that? That's why, if anytime, any place, then I'm gonna choose that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. So here's the only problem with this whole thing. Well, actually, it's not the only problem. It's just the only problem I feel like talking about.
Okay.
The thing about LA Knight, look, we all know that LA Knight can do whatever you need him to do. What we don't know is, are they going to capitalize on that? But the issue here is that this would be a great win for Dolph Ziggler and a good, just a good piece of business, as you would say. But as Jim Cornette would say, they've already beaten LA Knight into powder at this point. I don't think he's ever won a match since he's been in NXT. He's just the guy that goes out there.
Over, though. He's over.
I agree with you, but to a certain point, like, if you're over, start treating him like he is, and then maybe he could get some wins so that a Dolph Ziggler win means more. That's the whole thing about guys that get beat all the time. Like, you pick those guys to get beat all the time because you want other people to look good, but you don't look good beating guys that lose all the time. So you have to have, like, in your however you want to structure your company, you have to have a tier list of guys that are in their roles. LA Knight should not be in the jobber role. It doesn't matter how over he can get on the mic. No one will believe him anymore if he doesn't ever win any matches.
And he needs a heel. He needs to not just wins, but heel wins. Simple, like, look this way, misdirections, tight pull, show ass, da-da-da. So when he does lose, his losses mean more in retribution. I think he had that with Cameron Grimes, but I didn't know he's getting beat on the regular like that. People get their tickets money's worth when he goes, LA Knight, and they're all, he didn't have to say it now. They got him so conditioned. So I'm sure that's jumped the shark to some degree. We need to get it up to the fucking thing. But how about if they do the same thing with him? LA Knight, after he was Eli Drake, and now he goes to the main roster, and here comes Wally, everybody. It's Wally. Like change his name again,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they want. And just like you're always talking about with the tests and everything, like, I know that undoubtedly it was like that.
What are they going to say with him? If Vince even if he's been under contract.
Well, he has to have seen him. He has to have seen him at this point.
What heat is keeping, let me ask you, what heat is keeping LA Knight? The thing that made him and thing that helped get him over is what may keep him from the main roster.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
he's a Rock and Stone Cold. Like we talked about with Razor, he's too on the nose with it.
Yeah, it's too on the nose.
Like
he also when you have guys like that, they tend to believe that that's who you are, even if you're just playing that up for your character.
Yeah,
like the office can look at you as like they'll work themselves into a shoot, like thinking that you're the character that you're trying to play, that you're trying to get over to get heel heat. Yeah. And he is kind of like
Razor stole from who? Tony Montana,
right?
Who'd he steal from? The Rock and Stone Cold. They want The Rock, and Stone Cold is coming back. So you can't have the impersonator. He needed to steal from an outside source and bring that into wrestling. He stole from wrestling, and now it got him to a certain level. But the dudes on the main roster are going, dude, that's some Mark shit if you're just fucking doing The Rock's and Stone Cold's bit. He knows it. They won't say it to his face. Maybe somebody will, but that will keep him down unless he can find a way to now transition like Razor did into Scott Hall. he needs to fucking be more of himself. And what is that? Because the charisma is all in there. You just got to stop doing their tricks.
Well, I think at this point, like the guy himself is, even though it's very clearly obvious to everybody, or at least us, at least like insiders, it's obvious what he's doing. But like, I think we can say that the guy is legally distinct from The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, at least as much as Razor was from Tony. But the question is like, is the real guy part of the problem too? He does seem like and from what I've seen, he can come off as a little douchey, not like a bad guy, but just like the kind of guy that gets heat in wrestling. So maybe that has to do with it. But the
fact that he's a good heel, and usually the biggest heels are the nicest guys. So maybe he's a sweetheart. I don't know. I've never worked with him.
Usually, but that's the thing. Like back in the day, there used to be those tests that you put people through, that the Mandy Roses or whatever, or the LA Knights. Let's beat him into powder and see what he says about it, because he seems like he has a big ego. But if he doesn't say anything, then we'll know. But there used to be tests like that back in the day. But if they're testing now, there's no graduation anymore. Like, you never get to a point where the tests pay off. Everybody is marginalized to a certain degree. And it takes like, it almost just takes like them going hands off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like with Roman, and, you see what the vision for Roman is, suffering succotash and Jack and the Beanstalk. And then if Vince is like, shit, I don't know. And then Paul Heyman's like, allow me. And then all of a sudden now we get the Roman that we want. But is there anybody going to be like that for a LA Knight? Can anybody save
Everybody's
him from?
Got to be like that for themselves. And he's enough of a veteran that he could pull it off. But these factory made students, the answer to that question is fuck no, bro. Like, none of these Cora Jade none of them are going to get to that point where they've got that level, because they're institutionalized, made that way, and not from on the road, and haven't been burned by companies badly in the past to understand and walk into those traps. They're babes in the wood when it comes to it, and they'll pass and or fail them, but they won't be able to transition that to a main roster push like they did back in the day of parlaying your political acumen into success, on camera.
Well, in any case, it's sort of a sad state of affairs in general.
I'm happy today, Vat. I got to hang with you, bro, and talk NXT, man. It's a fucking good day all day. I appreciate all the fill-in work you did this past week, and always, man, and having great, concise opinions and setting me up, making these shows a lot easier for me, man, with softball questions for me to tee off on, man. You're a great co-host.
Oh, well, appreciate it. That's going to do it for us, I guess, huh?
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm the French luchador Yvette Snitsua, a.k.a. And you can check him out at Opinion Haver, you guys, on Twitter. Let him know how much you enjoy his commentary on all the HMG shows and everything we got going down here at channelattitude.com. You guys join the Hamin Media discussion group. Oh, boy.
Group.
And, interactive. It's WrestleMania season. The Pick'em Challenge is going to start over again. There's a lot of funny meme stuff going on in the watch-alongs. Appreciate William Alicia and all the crew in there at HMG keeping this tight-knit family going, man. It's awesome to see. So on behalf of the Vet and Big Ray all day, we're going to get out of here.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
Oh, you can stay. You can fucking go back.
I don't even have to tell him anymore. He knows.
But y'all, it's the next level review here. Hamin Media Group infidels. Y'all.
Oh, will you fucking stop?
Yeah, I'll stop. Calm down, Tony. Jesus.